The Full Melt Show is intended for a mature audience. It contains adult themes, adult content, and sometimes adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
It's the Full Melt Show.
Female medical marijuana advocates everywhere are singing "Oh Happy Day." Whoopi Goldberg, who once played a nun in the Sister Act movies, has been public about her use of Mary J in the past. And now she is heading into the business. Along with friend Maya Synergy, she created Whoopi and Maya, a line of products designed specifically for relief from menstrual discomfort. Their products include Soak, an Epsom salt bath soak, Savor, a cacao blend meant to be eaten, Rub, a pain-relieving body balm, and Relax, an essential oil type mix. The products will only be available in California to people who have a medical marijuana card. Since marijuana is still illegal federally, the products can't be sold anywhere else. Whoopi isn't the only celebrity who's dove into this type of business. Bob Marley's family and hip-hop artist Snoop Dogg have also developed their own cannabis products. According to research firms, the marijuana marketplace is one of the country's fastest-growing industries, worth about $5.7 billion, leaving many people to ask, why isn't this stuff legal everywhere? I'm Jordan Rolling for Buzz 60. Now you know, pass it on.
Are you high? What are you talking about?
This is the Full Melt.
Give me a break.
The Full Melt Show. A marijuana discussion about news, culture, politics, and lifestyle. FullMelt.com. Toll free. 844-420-TALK. 844-420-TALK.
What? What are you talking about? Are you high? If you're not, you might want to ask your friend. Say, hey, I'm not really high right now. The Full Melt Show is about to come on. You listen to the Full Melt Show and, sneeze sometimes it's entertaining. It'll be a lot better if I had some weed. Could you break out a little bit of weed for me? Look, you're my friend. Come on. Help a guy out here. Whoopi. Delving into the diva pot and becoming a seller of cannabis products. Welcome to the mainstream there, Whoopi, with the marijuana products. I was surprised that why doesn't somebody like Montel come out with his own products? Montel needs to come out with a product line. So I'm just saying. He could be like the FUBU of marijuana products, is what he might be. If he had that sniffer on him, if he thought he could, tell you one good brand from another, or create a good brand of his own, might be let me see, what would be a good name for that? Who knows? It's nice to see the celebrities because they mentioned that. I think does Melissa Etheridge have something going on? I think she does. I thought she had some kind of weed thing going on. I also thought that Rihanna was doing something with weed. It would also make sense that Miley Cyrus would have something going on in the weed category. We already know that Willie Nelson does. Snoop Dogg does. We know that Tommy Chong does. Incidentally, we'll be talking to Tommy Chong this week before the Cannabis Cup on this very program, live on the telefono. And then what else? Who else is in there? Willie Nelson, of course, has his own brand line of marijuana. And now throw into the hat Whoopi Goldberg with her Whoopi weed. It's not Whoopi weed, but see, that's what she should have. If she was smart, she would have Whoopi weed, because it's the whoop. You see, that's how you do. If you're a marketer, you got a name like Whoopi, and you're a star. How could you not go for the Whoopi weed? I mean, really, it's just such low-hanging fruit. It's right there. Just grab it, pick it, and enjoy. Whoopi weed. I mean, it's a home run. Instead, she makes menstrual products, which is great. I think it's awesome. I am not knocking Whoopi's entry into the cannabis product line arena. I'm not. But if you think about it, let's say if you're a product and you're being sold specifically for women's issues, and you happen to be a prescription product, and I don't even know if there is any prescription product for women's issue above a certain, like if you're taking Motrin, it needs to be above the dosage amount that over-the-counter would allow for. But then most people in that instance don't get the prescription Motrin anyways. They just take more of the over-the-counter version. I mean, if it's a 200 milligram tab and your doctor's saying, look, take 800 milligrams of Motrin, he's not going to necessarily write you an 800 milligram Motrin prescription and make you pay for it through the insurance when you could just go down and get it over the counter and take 4 tabs instead of 1. But my point started to be, and still hasn't been made, that if you are entering the product category of women's issues and it's a prescription medication, chances are if you have a penis, you're not getting that prescription, right? I'm just calling attention to the idea that if indeed there were one of these drugs, guys aren't getting the drug. Now, that would not necessarily, because it said right there on the commercial, well, it's not really commercial, it was a news report, but it said right there in the news report that Whoopi's menstrual products are available all over California to anyone with a medical marijuana card. It did not say anything about men. So I don't know what men might want to do with the women's menstrual products, but I can only imagine. Okay, I got to get away from there. Not touching that one with another 10-foot pole. I went over and poked it with a 10-foot pole once already. Oh, see, he's going right down the hole. See, it gets worse and worse as you keep talking, Green. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit giddy because the Hash Bash is coming up and there's all these things going on and we got, show shirts happening. We're going to have some show shirts out there. I think we'll have some sponsors on the back there. It'll be a Hash Bash shirt. If you want a commemorative Hash Bash shirt, there's a very limited quantity going to be available if everything goes as planned, because I still don't have them in my hot little hands yet. All the stuff's been sent, and we've been talking about this for a while now, and I'm not sure if they're going to actually come through with the shirts in time, because here we are Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's only, 2 more days away, and I still haven't seen anything about the shirts yet. So we're supposed to have a show shirt out there, but if we do have them, they'll be in very limited quantity. A commemorative Hash Bash shirt. It'll have our logo on the back with some advertisers. The shirt is black. The logo for Hash Bash on the front, commemorating this year's event, is in green on the front. And then the white back. There's a single color logo on the back of the show's logo, Full Melt Show logo, and then some advertisers across the shoulders. So it should be great. It's not looking right now like the weather is going to be the most cooperative, but it never has been. Springtime always brings various and sundry opportunity for bad weather. And this year is no different. Sometimes we're able to pull off sunny and 55 on that day. Other times it's like 29 degrees and a little frosty. This year we're looking like it's going to be a partly rainy day or a partly snowy day, and the high temperature is only supposed to be 44 degrees. Not that, and it's what. This is one of those things where you start looking at that date on the long-range forecast, like 30 days out, and then, it's going to be sunny and warm, and then it's going to be cold and wet. Oh, it's going to be sunny and warm. Oh, it's going to be cold and wet. The closer you get, it keeps changing, and then you never know what's going to happen on the day of, right? That's how it usually happens. This year, I've been looking at that thing since 30 days out, and it's been the same. It just hasn't changed. It's always been about 44 to 47 degrees, and it's always been either raining or snowing. 40% chance of either one, depending on how cold the temperature thing, moved. So it's only been moving about 4 degrees one way or the other. And the rain part has never changed. And so far, now that we're getting relatively close to the date, I'm afraid that's more likely than not to stick, that temperature and that, precipitation possibility. So it's going to be, dress for success out there that day. Make sure you dress appropriately. If you're coming out to the Hash Bash this year, bring a hoodie. You might want to bring a hat or a scarf just in case. If you're going to be languishing about walking through there for most of the day and you plan on toughing it through, you might even want to stash a pair of gloves. It couldn't hurt. Also, if you've ever been to the Hash Bash, and I've been there many, many times before recently, but most recently every year to do a show broadcast from that location. And every year I go out and I end up with a parking ticket. And it's not because I don't want to feed the meter or I don't want to. What it is when you get out there, if you don't, and mind you, I've got all that show equipment. So I've got a tent, I got tables, I got, chairs, I got all of the soundboard stuff, I got computer equipment, I got cords, I got microphones, I got a bag of cables. It's crazy. And then you got power cables and all that stuff. And signage and T-shirts and other stuff. For being a little 10 by 10 spot, you'd think that, we were moving there. But there's a lot of crap is what I'm saying. And when we get there in the morning, because the thing opens at noon, you got to kind of be cleared out of there for setup by noon, even though most of the people are actually over across the street at the protest on the diag on campus. And, but we've still got to be cleared out by noon, which means we have to be set up by noon, which means usually, even if you get there early, you got to pull up, drop stuff off on the corner there to one of your friends that's helping you. They drag it to the direct spot, and then you've got to go find a way to park. Now, most of the time, if I've got an opportunity, I'll park off in a residential neighborhood somewhere and then walk back. And then when we're done, it's easy to pull up and put your stuff back in there. And then you don't have to pay to park at all. But when 5,000 people show up downtown there on the nearby streets between, near Monroe and Tappan, it gets a little thick. And so I generally end up finding a parking spot where you can, park next to a meter, and then I'll proceed to put a bunch of money in the meter. The problem is, it doesn't matter how much money you put in that meter, you got to move after like a half an hour, or they're going to ticket you. I think you might get an hour. But I get a ticket every year in addition to feeding the meter, so Ann Arbor is well fed off this man's ass.
You're getting the full melt.
If you're like us, your pets aren't just animals. They're members of your family. Pet Pain CBD hemp oil drops are great for aging as well as active dogs and cats. Some people are apprehensive about hemp treatments for pets. They ask us, what are you smoking? Absolutely nothing, and neither will your pet. Like other hemp-based products for humans, the allure is all of the benefits of cannabis without any of the high. The CBD oil has shown to rejuvenate the bones, joints, brain, stomach, eyes, and heart. And the drops contain absolutely no corn, wheat, soy, artificial colors and flavors, or preservatives. Pick some up today. Visit PetPain.com or ask for Pet Pain at your local pet store. PetPain.com. CBD relief for your pet.
When you need legal help, you don't want to guess at who's standing next to you in court. And when it comes to a medical marijuana defense, it's even smarter to partner with a lawyer before you need one. Based in Royal Oak, David Rudoy has a proven history of not being afraid to take your case all the way to the Supreme Court and win. Find the law offices of Rudoy Law
at RudoyLaw.com.
RudoyLaw.com is a quick reference on your rights concerning Michigan medical marijuana
and up-to-date news.
That's RUDOI Law.com. Call 248-935-9074 now and talk about your legal needs, because at RudoyLaw.com, we don't just stand up for you, we stand up with you.
What's up with these things, Victor?
We decided to give ourselves stickers for each feature we release.
We read about 10,000 suggestions a week to create features that, as traders, we'd want to use.
10,000 suggestions? Who reads all of those?
He does.
For all the confidence you need, TD Ameritrade, you got this.
We need coffee.
Got it right here.
Cups.
12 ounce, 8 ounce recyclable.
Creamers, sweeteners, stirrers, filters.
Creamers, sweeteners, stirrers, filters, K-cups.
Hazelnut, French vanilla, French roast, dark, light, medium, bold, extra bold.
And decaf.
Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
No reason.
Free shipping for awards members every day. Staples. Make more happen.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
Radio show.
Hey, you know what's crazy? You know what's really, really crazy? Well, a lady on The View starts making marijuana products for women's, menstrual issues. No, that's not what's crazy. I expected that. You know what's really, really crazy is this story that hit the AP the other day. I'm reading this to you from the New York Daily News.com at nydailynews.com. But this is an AP story. and if you look at the photo, it's one of those photos that'll just make you bust out laughing out loud. As police in Laurel, Mississippi said Monday that a dog had brought this marijuana back home to her owner. Dateline. Where is there a Dateline on this story? I guess it's Dateline, Mississippi, Jones County. This doggy brought home a pound of pot instead of the morning paper. Miley, no, not Cyrus, a black lab mix from Laurel, Mississippi, came back from a bathroom outing holding a white plastic bag in her mouth that turned out to be full of marijuana, officials in the Jones County Sheriff's Office said Monday. Investigators called the Will Hayes Road home Saturday, called to the home on Saturday, found a higher grade marijuana in baggies rolled up in stick-like shapes and less potent weed in other baggies, Sheriff's Office spokeswoman Allison Knotts told the Daily News. The stash packaged for distribution weighed about a pound, she noted. Narcotics detectives probing Miley's find hadn't made any arrests Wednesday afternoon, she also told the press. They can't really ask the dog, from what pile did you get that, Knotts said. It's under investigation, but it was a tricky incident. Knotts wasn't sure of the exact street value of the marijuana. Miley's owner is not suspected in the investigation. She said Laurel is about 30 miles north of Hattiesburg in southern Mississippi. Jeez. I can't take the upper respiratory infection. It hits me every time this year, in the spring. This time of the year, I should say, in the spring. Now, there is a picture of the dog. The dog is indeed a young lab. Yeah, I am a dog trainer, and I would be interested in meeting this dog. Because not only would this dog make, obviously, a great drug dog for obvious reasons, but a dog like this is interested in scent and interested in retrieving it to a person. And so this dog could do everything from be a bomb-sniffing dog. You know, interestingly enough, I was watching a story about bomb-sniffing dogs. And I didn't stop to think about it like this. But bomb-sniffing dogs, as we know them in our minds, aren't necessarily what a real bomb-sniffing dog might do. You'd think, based on the idea of a bomb-sniffing dog, that a bomb-sniffing dog might be able to find a bomb. But that's not traditionally how these dogs are trained. So the dogs are normally trained to go to a particular object and then determine if said object is explosive or not. That's how they're trained. So you already have to have what's determined to be a suspicious package that you have reason to believe or have caution to assert that could be explosive. And so you send the dog in to give it a sniff. And then the dog would alert or not alert depending on whether it was inert or whether it was indeed explosive. So it's not really a bomb sniffing dog, although I guess it is, but it's not in the sense that you might think of it. It's not a dog that's going to go into an area and find the bomb, assuming there was one. It's only going to go in and determine if a predetermined package or location is indeed explosive. Just that one little spot. It's a backpack, it's a suitcase, it's a box, it's a round object with a wick coming out of the top that's on fire. I mean, something like that. It's going to go in there and find a specific item and then determine whether it's explosive and then signal what that determination was. Now, there's other kinds of bomb-sniffing dogs that they're just now training to actually do what we described earlier, which was to find the bomb. So these dogs, and I forget they had a specific name for these dogs. I don't remember the name of it now. But it's a free-roaming dog that is on patrol, and the dog, if you were to walk past him with or her with a backpack with explosives in it, or if let's say, for example, could be wearing it as a suicide vest, and you walked into the airport commons area there before the metal detectors, and you were heading towards the concourse where the metal detectors are, and there was a dog in this facility. The dog might pick up on the odor of that bomb as it's moving about the building, and then is able to actually hone in on that scent, locate its origin, and then signal its handler. So it's an amazing. So a dog like this that drug home the marijuana, all of a pound of it, in what looks to be like a white Walmart bag. And each inside, it must have, this is only in Mississippi, right? I mean, this is the kind of thing you could find anywhere across the country previous to now. But most places that have medical marijuana or even, legalized cannabis, you're not going to find necessarily a Walmart bag full of 16 one-ounce bundles of marijuana of various grades. I mean, the various grades part is the part that's most amusing. It's almost like he went to the weed dealer and he said, I want give me like a half pound of the Primo. Okay, wait a minute. I can't afford a half pound of the Primo. Give me like a quarter pound of the Primo. And then give me like a half pound of the mid-grade. And then give me like a quarter pound of swag. Because that's all I can afford, but I've got people who will buy each in about those quantities. Most people want the mid grades, so give me a half pound of that. I can't afford all the high grades, so I can only get a quarter pound, and then I've got a little bit of money left after all that, so I'll just get some swag. Because I got people that'll buy swag all day long down here in Mississippi. A dog like that, who went out to fetch the paper and came back with a stash, a morning stash that was better than the Sunday funnies, might make a good bomb-sniffing dog. Might make a good, they would definitely make a good search and retrieval dog. So if you're talking about recovering almost anything, a body, search and rescue for a person that's lost and you can't find them, or a perhaps cadaver sniffer looking for a body that you already anticipate exists in a location, or bodies where you're recovering it from.
It's the Full Melt.
What happened?
Radio show.
What happened there? I don't know what happened there. Something very strange is going on. I don't get it. Well, I got to see what happened there. I don't know. I can't take it. Yeah, that's not supposed to happen like that. I got to make sure that that's not in the rest of the field of all of our other content. somehow that music rejoin ended up in a place where it wasn't supposed to be. Did it stop now? What's going on here? Are we still moving? Okay, it's barely moving. It's moving. It looked dead for a second, like it was. We weren't advancing up the timeline. All right, let me. I gotta minimize this so I can see if this is in a place where it's gonna. Yeah. Okay. So we're all right. Good Lord. It's not often that I get rejoin music in the middle of a program segment. I'm used to the bumper music rolling up going into the commercial break, but not the one that comes out of the commercial break in the middle of the program segment. What gives? I'm going to have to fire my show producer. Hey, but I don't make any money. Okay, you're not fired. Yeah, because I'm you. Okay, then I'm fired. It's 7:28 Eastern Time. You've got Steve Green and the Full Melt Show. Thank you for joining us on the program today. A little shout out to our sponsors, David Rudoy at RudoyLaw.com. Also, the fabulous people at both the Sweet Leaf and then also Sacred Elements up there in Flint at 400 South Dordt Highway. And then also, I got to give a big shout out to our friends at NoSmell.com with the Candlelock bags, where you can put your cannabis in the Candlelock bag and it locks away the odor so nobody knows. And you can also, by the way, if you want to get a discount on a Candlelock bag and order it online, do it now. Use the discount code FULLMELT and you'll get a 10% discount on your cannabis order. Your cannabis order, your cannabis bag order, your no-smell cannabis bag order. It is indeed a Candlelock no-smell bag. They have them in different sizes, too. They have them, like a quarter-ounce size. They got like a half-ounce size, and then they got like a 1-ounce size. They used to have other big sizes, too. I'm not sure if they do or not, but check them out and let me know. Go to nosmell.com. So, the dog thing cracks me up. I'm sorry. I can't get away from the dog. Now, there was this other news today, too, that kind of, quite a bit of news, in fact. We'll get to a story about vets in Colorado Springs getting free marijuana, because that's an awesome story. And then there's also a career fair for cannabis jobs in California, in San Francisco. We'll talk about that. Normally, I would have left the dog thing as a fluff story at the end. But for the time being, maybe even the marijuana thing with Whoopi Goldberg, because, that's gold right there all by itself. But there was this other story about, oh, good Lord, where did it go? Vets getting the marijuana. Here it is. The Oregon marijuana industry. Now, remember, Oregon's one of those places where cannabis is legal for adults. But, and there's a big but there. I said big but. The Oregon marijuana extract industry temporarily shutting down now. I said it loudly, shutting down amid legal limbo. As the Oregon Health Authority says, the production of cannabis extract is now a Class B felony. The hell are you people doing? See, Colorado did this by chasing the crazy cannabis cup. They chased the cannabis cup away by denying them a permit for all that wonderful tourism and all those jobs that you got there now in Colorado because you passed this law. You did it because you wanted them jobs. You did it because you wanted the tourists to come and spend their money in your state and in your towns. But then Denver chases them away, and nobody wants to give the Cannabis Cup a venue license because they're too big. They got too many people that want to come every day. Oh, what a problem that is to have. Boo frickin' who. And then, so you know what you do? If you got 35,000 people a day showing up for this event in Denver. You go find another venue where you can fit the other 15,000 people and you get their money at another event, you dumbasses. I'm sorry that's what you do, but you don't also not find a way to answer the question or to at least allow some special permission where people can smoke cannabis in public, at least at a closed venue. Like, you know, the Cannabis Cup, for crying out loud. Or maybe this is like saying you can have your beer festival, but there will be no open beer drinking. The hell are you thinking? You know, Coors is down there. Right down there next to Denver, the Coors factory. I went there shortly after I left the Denver Cannabis Cup in 2014. And I know you've got a huge beer and craft beer industry there in Colorado. Nobody's telling these people at these public venues they can't enjoy as adults responsibly the open drinking of your craft beer or standard commercial beers there in Colorado. Nobody's doing that anywhere. And you know what? If there's a school nearby or if there's a church nearby, nobody gives a flim-flam fuck. Because it is just a few people inside of a fenced-in area with a special permit and licensing and security doing their adult libations there in open public in front of God and everybody. That's all that it is. So you better get used to the idea that if you want all of this kind of stuff, you can't chase people away. But the Oregon Health Authority now has announced that unlicensed production of marijuana concentrates will indeed be considered a felony and has effectively shut down Oregon's extraction industry for more than 2 weeks. And I just want to highlight again, there's only 4 states and plus the District of Columbia that have legalized marijuana for the adult consumption responsibly on private property of cannabis products. And Oregon is one of those 4. So you got Colorado telling people you can't openly consume, even if you're a tourist, because once you come and buy our expensive and highly taxed weed, you better go figure out where you can smoke that and not get in trouble. And now Oregon, a much less densely populated area but beautiful, threatening its residents with Class B felonies over extracting the active ingredients off the cannabis plant. The rest of that story coming up right after the break.
You're getting the full melt.
I've seen things no man should bear, and those that every man should dare. From the beaches of Normandy to the far reaches of the earth. In my life, I have lived millions of lives. I've outrun robots and danced with dinosaurs. I've faced the faces of fear and fortitude and witnessed great beauty in the making. I've kept the company of kings and queens, but I'm no royalty or saint. I've traveled, trekked, wandered, and roamed, only to find myself right where I belong.
Jeep. See your authorized Jeep retailer for details on how you can become a Jeep owner.
We asked people to tell us something that happened in their past and something that might happen in their future. The good things were put on yellow magnets and the bad ones on blue. The results show the past was a pretty even mix of good and bad, yet the future was almost all good things. Now that you've seen the results of this experiment, what does it mean to you?
We all want to think about positive stuff.
Realistically, there will be downtimes.
It's great to think optimistically, but let's plan for whatever the future might bring.
Prudential, bring your challenges.
RootMetrics, in the nation's largest independent study, tested wireless performance across the country. Verizon won big with 153 state wins. AT&T got 38, Sprint got 2, and T-Mobile got 0. Verizon also won first in the U.S. for data, call, speed, and reliability. AT&T got text. Stuck on an average network? Join Verizon, and we'll cover your cost to switch.
Introducing Sacred Elements, a place for natural and alternative healing for the mind, body, and soul. Sacred Elements. It's one place, all solutions.
Registered, licensed, certified, ordained.
Sacred Elements.
Massage, hypnosis, Reiki.
Sacred Elements.
Raindrop, aroma and color therapy, body detox, ministry, life coaching, weight and nutrition counseling.
Sacred Elements. Next to the Sweet Leaf, 400 South Dorr Highway, Flint.
11 to 7 daily, closed Sunday.
Call 810-259-2570. Hey, it's Steve Green for the Sweet Leaf in Flint, because now getting safe access to medical cannabis patients in Flint, Michigan is never more welcoming. Presenting the Sweet Leaf, a brand new patient experience, bringing 12 carefully selected caregivers housed in 9 separate offices to distinctly assist you with their knowledge and reputation for excellent patient care. Classes and training coming soon in the large community room. Check it out in person, 400 South Dorr Highway, or call 810-259-2571. The Sweet Leaf Center in Flint, 810-259-2571. It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
You can find the Full Melt Show Monday through Friday from 7 until 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And sometimes on Saturday. We'll be out there Saturday this year, as we are every year this Saturday. I'm really stoked, man. Yeah, we're doing the Hash Bash. I'm hoping to get a live interview with Tommy Chung out there right for the medication bus. It's a private place just for Tommy. And then also Kyle Cushman's out there from The Grow Show. Got to try and see if we can get him on the program. Dan Sky is going to be in town from High Times Magazine. It's always great to see Dan. And then Darren McCarty from the Red Wings is going to be milling about as well. And you gotta love Darren. Darren's one of those. He's like a kind of a party animal type guy. And it would be nice to get Darren on the show. So we were talking earlier about this before the break about Oregon stepping in and saying that they're going to take unlicensed production of marijuana concentrates and consider them a Class B felony. At a March 15th forum hosted by the Oregon Cannabis Association at Refuge PDX, marijuana business owners were surprised to learn that under a state law that went into effect March 3rd, unlicensed production of cannabis extracts, potent oils used to make concentrates and edibles, is indeed now considered a Class B felony. The law is a side effect of new regulations requiring marijuana concentrate manufacturers to be licensed by the Oregon Health Authority. Extraction companies will be allowed to operate legally after Friday, April 1st, but that has left businesses in legal limbo for nearly a month. The news has caused panic in Oregon's cannabis industry. Jenny Kiley, a co-founder of Emerge Law Group, a Portland firm that specializes in marijuana law, says the new regulations and subsequent shutdown have had industry-wide repercussions. Folks are halting operations, Kiley says. It's the extractors, it's the edible makers, it's the whole manufacturing chain. Carla Kay, a co-founder of Portland's Skunk Farm LLC, a marijuana research company, says extractors are, quote, scrambling to comply with the laws. Skunk Farm has shut down its extract production. It was really ugly for a while, Kay tells WW. This is Willamette Week at WWWeek.com's story. The Oregonian first reported on the news rules earlier this month. We stopped processing the minute we heard about it, says Ty Hornsby. Ty works in research and development at Portland Extracts. We took all of our extraction equipment out. But Hornsby says sudden shifts are not uncommon in Oregon's rapidly evolving marijuana laws. It's pretty indicative, Hornsby says, we're always on our toes. In a news bulletin published March 18th, the OHA clarified the cannabis extract law. In the 2016 legislative session, the legislature passed HB 4014, which makes the unregistered or unlicensed manufacture of marijuana extracts illegal, the bulletin says. 5 days later, after an industry-wide uproar, now I don't know why they would uproar, the OHA sought to soften the surprise effects of the law with an amendment to the rules. a medical marijuana processing site that has submitted a complete application for registration with OHA is exempt from criminal liability, a March 23rd bulletin states. And that's a great incentive for people to go and get licensed up. But extraction licenses will not be available until April 1st. The result is an awkward interval during which extractors are not allowed to either produce or apply to produce cannabis extract. We're all kind of standing in limbo right now, Kay tells Willamette Week. Kay says the shutdown will have long-term consequences for producers and patients. There are going to be some people who are not going to make it because of this month of being shut down, she says. There are a lot of patients who are going without right now. The shutdown may also have far-reaching effects for the marijuana legalization movement, Kylie tells Willamette Week. The rest of the country's looking to Oregon, too, to see how we're doing it, Kylie says. I hope we're doing it right. And so that's an interesting thing going on there in Oregon. It bugs me. And I'm sure it bugs the people in Oregon much more because they're the ones that have to cope with it. It bothers me, though, when these... Because, look, anytime you make an industry change, it's going to be painful. Anytime there's a shift in society and it changes both workplace and workers and rules associated. This is a major shift in societal attitudes, this idea that cannabis can be legal. And it needs to be healthy and legal. That's the only way it's going to survive as a product. It's got to be healthy and legal. Or at least not dangerous and legal. And so one of the things you're going to have to do is apply for a license so that you're meeting all the benchmarks of any regulatory agency or authority that has jurisdiction over your business governance. And they do. And they will apply it. And remember, I keep saying this, I keep reminding people that once you get a freedom, you have to defend it, or it will be taken summarily away by people who don't want you to have that freedom. For one reason or another, mostly selfish ones. Hey, I don't want you to have the freedom of speech because you might say something bad about me and it's going to impinge on my business over here. Well, there's a legal system for handling these kinds of complaints. But if he had his way, he would take away your freedom of speech because you're muddling with his ability to sell whatever it is he's selling, regardless of your opinion. But if your opinion matters to people, you might be libeling the guy. Or if what you're saying is true, there might be some other legal ramifications. Not for you, but maybe for him. Point being that even your freedom, all of your constitutionally guaranteed civil rights are indeed at risk all the time. Not just some of the time. They're always barren and open on a target field for people with weapons they would like to annihilate them with. If you've got a freedom, it must be defended. And these are new freedoms being given to people in new ways, and then sometimes, in this case, retracted, only to say this freedom exists with license. And then the government gets their piece and everybody's happy. It happens this way with vehicles. It happens this way with alcohol. It happens this way in almost every facet of controversial adult libation across the country. I mean, you've got your specialized adult sex districts in the form of cat houses out in Las Vegas, where prostitution, remember, remains legal, but licensed. Look, you can go to Las Vegas or Nevada also and enjoy a great deal of gambling opportunity right there in a family-friendly venue. Look, you kids go over and hang out on the swing sets and play over there in the kid playland area with your older sister. And we're going to hang out here and smoke cigars and drink our bourbon and let it all ride on black. I mean, and then when we get done, you guys go off on, take a tour. Here's some cash, older sister. Take your brothers and sisters out on a tour of Las Vegas and see all the fun stuff. You know, go to that Pawn Stars place and check those guys out. While you're doing that, I'm giving Mom some money, and she's going to go shopping while I head off to the cat house, and nobody knows. And remember what happens in Vegas. I mean, this is what we got going on. And now, Las Vegas and Nevada squarely in the front of the medical marijuana tour, making its way across the country. And I can't wait for a casino to get involved in the adult association with cannabis. It's got to be in the mix in the future. Somewhere, some way, there's going to be some lobbying and some pressuring. Look, in Michigan, you can't go anywhere in public where there might be other people unless it's, in a giant park somewhere. And even then, I think it's technically illegal. You can't be smoking. They've outlawed it in all public buildings, on the property of hospitals and campuses across the state. You can't be smoking your tobacco products. But you can still walk into, now you can't even go into a tobacco shop where they have some special places, a whole room designed for smoking, but you can't consume your tobacco in there unless it's a cigar. And then you've got to have special licensing for your little cigar lounge where people can light up their cigars and try them out before they make a larger purchase. But you can't smoke your tobacco products in there. You can still walk into a casino and light to your heart's content. You want to sit there in the restroom and smoke a butt while you're dropping a deuce? You're more than welcome to do that. If you want to sit there at the slot machines and puff away while you're pulling that hammer or pushing those video buttons, you go right ahead. Somewhere, somehow, some way, one of these guys is going to put pressure to allow for the open consumption of cannabis somewhere in one of these casinos. Can't wait. I think it's already happening on Indian tribe property anyway.
You're getting the full melt.
Promotional consideration provided by NoSmell.com, pioneering the storage market for cannabis users. The NoSmell patented bag technology offers users 100% smell-proof detection from even the most sophisticated of noses. NoSmell.com, so nobody knows. When placing your order for a No-Smell bag, make sure to use discount code FULLMELT and take 10% off the entire order. Learn more about No-Smell technology at NoSmell.com.
Young students are our future. They're eager to learn, eager to succeed, eager to make the world a better place. And they want to make it to school safely. Share the road, take care when passing, and always leave 3 feet between you and people on bikes. Bikes are legal road vehicles. We're all drivers.
When you need legal help, you don't want to guess at who's standing next to you in court. And when it comes to a medical marijuana defense, it's even smarter to partner with a lawyer before you need one. Based in Royal Oak, David Rudoy has a proven history of not being afraid to take your case all the way to the Supreme Court and win. Find the law offices of Rudoy Law
at RudoyLaw.com.
RudoyLaw.com is a quick reference on your rights concerning Michigan medical marijuana
and up-to-date news.
That's RUDOI Law.com. Call 248-935-9074 now and talk about your legal needs, because at RudoyLaw.com, we don't just stand up for you, we stand up with you.
If you're like us, your pets aren't just animals. They're members of your family. Pet Pain CBD hemp oil drops are great for aging as well as active dogs and cats. Some people are apprehensive about hemp treatments for pets. They ask us, what are you smoking? Absolutely nothing, and neither will your pet. Like other hemp-based products for humans, the allure is all of the benefits of cannabis without any of the high. The CBD oil has shown to rejuvenate the bones, joints, brain, stomach, eyes, and heart. And the drops contain absolutely no corn, wheat, soy, artificial colors and flavors, or preservatives. Pick some up today. Visit petpain.com or ask for Pet Pain at your local pet store. Petpain.com. CBD relief for your pet.
Hey, it's Steve Green for the Sweet Leaf in Flint, because now getting safe access to medical cannabis patients in Flint, Michigan is never more welcoming. Presenting the Sweet Leaf, a brand new patient experience bringing 12 carefully selected caregivers housed in 9 separate offices to distinctly assist you with their knowledge and reputation for excellent patient care. Classes and training coming soon in the large community room. Check it out in person, 400 South Door Highway, or call 810-259-2571. The Sweet Leaf Center in Flint, 810-259-2571. It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
Radio show.
You know, we're getting very excited. Doing some packing already. We're ready to go out there to the Hashes Abashes. I got to tell you that this idea that veterans could be getting some free cannabis tickles my heart, because I've always had a tremendous reverence for those people willing to place their own lives on the line for the rights of others in this country. And I've always said also that anytime that you don't go and vote, anytime that you refuse to participate in the civic process involved by trying to avoid jury duty, or by not being actively engaged with your government, calling to make a complaint to your state representative if there's an issue on your heart or on your mind that needs to be heard. Every time you don't do that, you are besmirching the names and reputations of veterans of foreign wars, defending this land and our freedoms as American civilians in this world. Every single time. And I'll never do that. As long as I'm able to physically go vote, I will be at the voting booth filling in those boxes. And even then, even when I'm not able to do that, I will be voting absentee. A Cannabis Cup in Colorado Springs is handing out free marijuana to military veterans, hoping to give them relief from issues like PTSD and chronic pain they suffer after returning home from deployment in war zones. Excuse me. Over the weekend, the Veteran Farmers Alliance Group handed out more than half a pound of pot and marijuana edibles worth about $1,400 to veterans in Colorado Springs. The group there has a founder named Stephen DeFino, and said other groups should also be doing the same thing, and that marijuana itself was essential for him to deal with his PTSD, which he's fought for a decade now. I've been able to actually go through my memories, recall my memories without getting upset anymore. And I'm starting to live my life again like a normal person, DeFino said in an interview with KXRM, which reported on the pot giveaway. DeFino added that using the drug could be especially important when it comes to suffering veterans who may feel close to suicide, because even though marijuana's impact is indeed short-lived, it enables veterans to gradually interact with and re-enter the community. I've talked to guys that are ready to kill themselves. They're ready to take their own life because they feel like nobody is there for them. So this is a small way to say thank you for what you've done, he said. One Iraq war veteran at Saturday's event told KXRM that pot has helped him get some much-needed rest since he started using it 3 years ago. Prior to that, he said he would go days without sleeping. This saves lives. this will take the depression or anxiety off their mind, at least temporarily, until they can find some more permanent help or relief, DeFino added. Stories praising the impact of marijuana on veterans come as an increasing number of former military members turn to the drug to battle chronic pain and PTSD, even though there is little scientific research showing that pot is beneficial. The state of Colorado is currently funding 2 different studies into the issue, as it has held off on approving marijuana for PTSD until more data comes in. That's what they always want, isn't it? More data. We need more study. There surely is not enough scientific evidence to say marijuana helps PTSD. Marcel Bon Miller, a University of Pennsylvania professor who is part of a Colorado study, told the Associated Press, but we're going to get a heck of a lot closer to getting to know the answer in 2 or 3 years. While many have gotten behind the drug, the Department of Veterans Affairs has recorded an increasing number of veterans diagnosed with marijuana dependence, the AP reported recently. In one case documented by the outlet, an Iraq war vet using marijuana to help himself sleep ended up killing himself by age 31. Marijuana killed my soul and ruined my brain, he wrote in his suicide note. Yet despite the lack of research at this point, marijuana may become a preferred option for veterans treating chronic pain over opioids like Vicodin or Zohydro. Opioid addiction has become an epidemic in the U.S. in recent years, and veterans are more likely than others to become affected. I heard on a news story this morning that 78 people a day in this country are dying from accidental opioid overdose. Opioid addiction has become epidemic, I'll say again, in the U.S. in recent years, and veterans are more likely than others to become affected. These drugs can be effective if they're properly managed, but if not, they can and do lead to overdoses, addiction, and heroin use, as well as suicide. Overall, veterans are 2 times more likely to suffer an overdose than other Americans, according to a study published by the National Center for Biotechnology Information. Between 2010 and 2015, opioid use disorders rose by 55%, PBS's Frontline reported. Now the VA is trying to cut back on prescribing opioids, but marijuana is still off the table. Now, as officials continue to research the issue, veterans remain in need of health care that other Americans might take for granted. And volunteer groups are trying to fill the void. Many don't qualify for dental care from the VA, for example. And the nationwide Aspen Dental Network is now working with the Got Your Six with, does it say that it says working with the Got? I have no idea what that means. Your Six nonprofit to provide care via a traveling mouthmobile truck. It is currently working its way through more than 30 cities across the U.S. Since it began in 2014, the Mouthmobile has provided almost $4 million in free dental care and education, according to the Military Times. Many veterans who have served our great country find themselves struggling to address their most basic needs in life, Air Force veteran Randall Murray, who has received care from the program, told the news outlet. The Healthy Mouth Movement program helps address the gap in services and resources available to the veteran population, and we all support our vets. I mean, they're our brothers, our sisters, our children, these veterans. They're our fathers, our uncles, our aunts, our nieces. I mean, they are indeed members of our family. And so we honor them, we cherish them, we wish them well, and we must find ways, and I'm adamant about this, we have to find, just like you have to respect your elders, you have to respect your veterans. They've done something you never have. They did it voluntarily. They placed their life on the line and came back permanently damaged as a result, and you need to thank them. And you need to support services and programs that are designed to help these people get reintroduced once they come back from these war zones and to help cope with these conditions long, long after their tours of duty have ended. Until tomorrow, I'm Steve Greeny. We'll see you another day for another edition of The Full Melt Show. Talk to you then.
The Full Melt Show is a production of TFM Media.